The Bulls have 3 seconds to try a shot and try to win the game.
This is the Notebook Wagering Show on the Wild Style Network. Here are your hosts, Q, Smitty, Matt, and J Cam.
Thursday night, Notebook Wagering time. We're there, man. It's the big dance. It's right around the corner. Our guy has his jersey on tonight. We're ready to go. You never know what you're going to have on now. That might be the greatest thing about the show right now is what outfit, what hat, what jersey is this guy going to wear, man? Hey, we're excited, man. Like I said, it's the time of year, man. We are pumped. A lot of action going on, but thanks for being here. Get in that chat, sign that notebook, get in some questions, get us some thoughts, get into some games tonight, man. What's going on, Maddie? How are you?
Smitty, you actually will never know what I'm going to wear. I don't even know what I'm going to wear. Just to sum it up, kind of like a clothes whore, closet-wise, though. I have over 200 some t-shirts. That's just t-shirts. Like, I have a whole dresser dedicated to t-shirts, which is probably like borderline insane, but it's fun. And why not? So I try to get some new t-shirts every year for the tournament. I didn't know who to grab this year. I'm actually disappointed I didn't grab a Drake Bulldog shirt because I think that'd be a good one for Vegas. I don't think I have enough time to get it in, but I'm ready, man. These conference tournaments have been really fun. Although I find myself staying up till 1:30 watching these late games, and that's just not good. Gina asked me tonight. She's like, Your eyes are all red. Did you like hurt yourself at the gym? I was like, I think it's just because I'm sleeping 5 hours a night.
Yeah. Hey, I'm right with you, man. The last 2 nights, it's been 1 a.m. Yeah. That's late. That's late. And we're getting. Hey, listen, man, we're getting older. That's tough. You can't bounce back that fast and then go into work and everything like that. But I am going to say, though, my boss does watch this, man, but my energy level's out of the roof, man. It's on during the day. It's fantastic. So, but it's been some late nights watching and just some tight games. So, hey, let's get into it, man. Hey, thanks. Ken's here. Mike's here. Hey, guys, thanks for being in the chat, man. Yeah, my orange forgot to get off the bus. Yeah, they did. Yeah. So
I knew that was coming, sadly.
Yeah, so Syracuse won't get in. I'm a Hoya guy, man. I watched them go down in defeat again last night, and I'm excited that the season's over. Let's see what Ed can do here. He has some decent recruits coming in. Turn that roster over again, and let's try it again next year for Georgetown because it wasn't good. But I got some numbers with some coaches, and we got some things. So we're gonna start off, man. Let's go right in. I had a great night last night. I went 7-2. I got off to a good start today. I didn't post this game, but I heard a guy on VSiN today, and he sold me, man. What a great used car salesman. And it was a great point. Kent State played Toledo at like 11:30 a.m. today. And, I think it was in the arena where Cleveland, the Cavaliers play. And he said, hey, take that first half under. It was 72, and they just played each other a couple days ago. And it didn't sniff it, man. It was like, I think he said it was like in the 50s. So I was like, let's roll it up. Let's see what happens. Played it. Easy winner. Combined was like 56. Wasn't even close. So good start there. Then I came back with VCU. That was a winner. And Texas Tech. I played the +3 with Texas Tech. That was good. Now, my big fault today, though, Maddie, and before we go into some of these later games and try to get some people some money, I was on a heater, man. I had 5 in a row for Sharp Angle Syndicate. Check that site out if you need some help with some plays. I do some stuff for them. And I played TCU. I just had a feeling. I thought they were going to compete. I thought Houston, again, they're locked into a number 1 seed. How much energy is they going to put into this conference? Because you got to remember, some of these teams, I don't know if they want to really go far in this, Matt.
Well, some do. Like you brought up Houston. I don't know if they need to because I think they have a 1 seed locked up. But then you have some teams like Arizona who have played themselves to a 2 line, but if these other teams stumble, can they play themselves on a 1 line, which would be huge for them if they get the West bracket then. That's like money. Tennessee the same way, North Carolina, I think 3 teams right there that need to push. And then you have some like 3 seeds, like could Duke sneak all the way into a 2 seed? And we saw Kansas last night. Boy, did their resume take a beating last night.
Yeah, 2 top players not playing right now. Yeah, they're a mess.
I think they're going to drop to like a 5 seed, and that's crazy. I don't know the last time they've been ranked so low. And then you have the smaller teams who are battling for those. Like I know everybody says we just want to get in, but you also just don't want to get in. You don't want to be on that 8-9 line and then have to face the 1 seed after one game. That's like it's not a death trap, but it's just not the preferred route to go to advance. So I think a lot of teams do want to go. I think some may coast though, like Purdue, Houston, UConn can afford to. If they're not going to sweat getting a couple extra days rest. But these tournament games have been fantastic. I actually have some plays. I got a couple in games too. I have one in game. I have K-State getting 7 against Iowa State. I think just after last night, they might catch enough heat to stay in the game the whole time. It's been a great game early. I know that. And then I'll rattle off my other ones. Tonight's plays, 7:30 should have started Dayton -7. Then I got late games. So these are all 9 to 9:30, and then the super play late. Western Kentucky -6. I have the Villanova Marquette game under 140. That's at 9:30. I grabbed BC +5 tonight. I think they're good enough to hang tonight. And then super late night special. Stephen F. Austin, the Lumberjacks, money line play to win outright tonight, +135. 11:30. If you got the fever here, or you just can't sleep, too much coffee, tune in late to the Lumberjacks.
Lumberjacks, I like it. So, yeah, so that was my plays earlier today. Like I said, I didn't post the one, but I did. So I went on posted plays 2 and 1. I gave out, I'm on Marist, which is not looking good. I'm just off that Niagara team. I can't take them anymore. So, but they're up 11, of course. I taken them the last couple times and they let me down. So I liked Marist tonight. So that's not looking good. I'm on Ohio State. That game, I think they're up 11. Hey, keep an eye on this Ohio State team. They fired their coach and now all of a sudden they've caught fire. So I thought it was a good play tonight. So I played them. They're up good right now. I took Providence against Creighton, the Blue Jays. I took Providence +8.5.
That's looking great.
Yeah, it's a good start.
Yeah.
And the reason why I took it, watching them last night, I mean, they beat Georgetown. Georgetown's not a very good team, but they're right there. They're on that bubble. They got it. This a big one. They got to probably get this one tonight, maybe one more, and they could maybe get in. So I thought it was good with the dog play with that. Maddie, I'm also on BC with you tonight. I'm on the +5. That's at 9:30. Hey, listen, that Virginia team, do you want to see them? I mean, please put Indiana State in. Matt brought up Drake. If you watched any of that tournament, that was fantastic basketball. Drake is good.
I was actually going to bring up, these bubble teams this year are bad.
Yes.
Like Virginia, bad. Villanova on the bubble, barely beats DePaul, needs the last second shot to beat the second or first worst team in NCAA basketball. I actually think that helps Indiana State now. So, yeah, they didn't win their conference tourney, and we all know the small schools struggle to get those at-large bids. I think that actually proves, hey, these bubble teams are pretty shitty. So let's put in somebody with a good following. They have that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar kid, and it's just a good basketball team. They just ran into a fun, high-scoring Drake team that is playing really well right now. Yeah, the bubble is horrendous. No way should Virginia be in there. And I'll actually toot Pitt's horn. I think Pitt earned a bid today.
Yes.
And
I agree.
I Pitt, but I think that game actually was loser is going to go to the NIT. Now,
Yes.
Wake Forest actually has a decent resume, so they could still get an at-large bid. It depends what happens in some of these other tournaments. But I think Pitt earned themselves a bid today. I hope Virginia loses tonight and just goes home and gets out of the way, because although I wouldn't mind seeing them get in and then grabbing some small school who plays them and betting the money line game one.
Yeah, James. Is James Buck? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Buck. Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, Buck said Drake is a damn good team. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was fantastic basketball. I mean, that game was great. I was on Drake. Got out big. I mean, they got up on Indiana State by like 18 and then got down, but then came back. The coach's son is fantastic. He's a straight scorer. The big guy underneath is a Seton Hall, I think, transfer. He's a good player. The point guard is really good, can shoot, but both those teams are just fantastic. So, yeah, I want to go back to that Villanova game. So I had DePaul last night. I gave that out. I put it out on social media. I had plus 24 in that. Man, I was rooting for that team, Matt. I watched that entire game, and you just felt that team. DePaul has 3 wins, 0 wins in the Big East, and you could just see and that Villanova coach isn't any good. That guy ain't going to last there. Those teams they're used to going to the Final Four and winning champion. That guy ain't getting them there at all. You can just see it. So now here's the thing. Hey, Scotty, what's going on, man? Good to have you here, man. Every week now, Scotty's here. Good to see you. Have you in the chat. But yeah, last second shot. I mean, just unbelievable. And it's like, but here's the thing. They'll probably come back tonight and play fantastic and beat Marquette. That's a wake up. And the thing with Marquette, you got to be careful. Their best player isn't playing.
That's right. They actually have a shot tonight. So I was going to give you a quick trivia question.
Oh, go for it.
Can you name any of the 3 wins that DePaul has?
Oh man, no.
2 are
no, because I thought of Georgetown right away, but I know Georgetown beat them the first time. Georgetown was crushing them the second, because I was on Georgetown, I think on a money line or something. Then they blew the lead but just squeaked it out. So I know it wasn't Georgetown. No, I don't know.
Well, I think one of the teams they beat is Chicago State, who I believe is their first year in D1 hoops.
Well, that probably would be right. Yep.
They beat South Dakota, not South Dakota State. And then they actually beat Louisville, which that alone probably should have got Kenny Payne fired. So adios, Kenny Payne.
Well, can I just jump in? Because I have a note. Yeah. I have a note on Kenny Payne. So Kenny, let me as I'm talking, I'm going to find another one that I took a picture of off VSiN. VSiN posted a really good thing. So I'm going to jump on that. But Kenny Payne, he just 2 seasons, he was 12-51.
Yeah. He's just awful.
Yeah. That was bad with Kenny Payne. Let me see if I can find this really quick if I can.
I'm going to bring up something while you're looking. So, Buck had brought up Loyola Chicago and how they're a sneaky good team. Boy, is that the game of the day on USA. They're in double overtime.
OT, yeah.
Yeah, potentially looking at triple OT here. They're still tied up.
Yeah, that was a play I had down, because what I try to do is the night before, I try to get my lean sheet, and then I kind of lock in the morning a little bit, and then I like seeing line movements, and there's a couple people, I look at some of their info and projections and everything like that, and that one jumped. That got up to about 175, 180, and I didn't want to lay that much, so I kind of missed out on a good number, but I did like that team. So I have it here, Matt. This is just really bad. Worst winning percentage over the last 2 seasons, team-wise. Louisville, they're 12-52. DePaul, 13-51. California, 16-47. And Georgetown, 16-47.
Wow. Go Hoyas.
And then, yeah, go Hoyas. That's why my hair's turning gray. It's been tough couple of years here. DePaul just hired, it sounded like they were going to get the Oklahoma coach, and then that kind of fell through. And now they hired the guy that got fired from Ohio State, and now his team's taken off. I don't think he's a bad coach, though. I think he was at Butler and did an okay job, but just didn't do wasn't very good at Ohio State, especially the last 2 years.
Well, he's a better coach than whatever they've had for the past 15 years. So
Yeah, you haven't been good since is it the Myers or something? You had the dad, and then
Joey
you had
Meyer.
yeah,
Joey
then you
Meyer
had-
Senior and Junior. They haven't been good since Rod Strickland was you know what? Deshaun Stevenson, I believe. They had a couple good years run with him in probably like the mid 90s, late 90s. That's it. Been kind of thin in the Windy City for hoops.
Yeah, hey, Bill, hey, great question. When will Michigan fire Howard? It should have done it right after the game. I've been saying, if you've been watching our show, I've been on rants about these coaches. So let's just jump in there. Bill brought us into a really good thing here. Howard should be gone. He's horrible.
He should have been gone after they lost to Rutgers on the road and got absolutely torched by 30.
Well, he probably should have been fired. Let's say this. Probably when he went after some coaches on the sidelines and tried to fight. Then he punched, supposedly, let me throw that before Juwan Howard has a lawsuit against me or something. He supposedly put his hands on the strength and conditioning coach or something there at Michigan this year. So, yeah, not good. Hey, can we get rid of, and I've been saying this guy, can we get rid of Penny out of Memphis too?
I think he played himself out today. I think they're due for a overhaul there. The problem is he gets really good athletes in, but somebody posted on Twitter, it's like they just don't care. They have it's no discretion what the players do. There's nothing in sync. They are a mess. They play street hoops and it just doesn't work.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
And another one I've been on is Woodson for Indiana. Now they play Penn State tonight, and I didn't get that one out. I am on Penn State money line tonight. Now that line, Penn State was favored earlier in the day. Now Indiana is. So I don't like that movement a little bit, but I'm going to take a chance. It wasn't a big play for me, but I did take Penn State money line. One more I didn't give out. Bethune-Cookman +4 tonight at 9:30. I've taken that team a couple times here and there, but it just was a lean. I like it. So that's my card late tonight. Matt, there's some other ones I had my eye on. Nevada money line. I think they are playing Colorado State off the top of my head. I kind of like them. Boise State plays New Mexico. That's a great game. Those are two good teams. I would probably lean Boise State in that. Mashburn. Go ahead.
I was going to say a team for these guys, everybody tuning in to watch out for in the brackets. We know there's going to be upsets, and it's hard to find that special team. I think if Colgate gets a favorable 14-3 matchup, I hope they can get to like the 14 line, even the 13 line. This is their 4th year in a row in the tournament. It's time for them to pull an upset. They've been close. I think this is the year. If they can get one of those weak, like who knows? Maybe they get somehow a matchup against Kansas, like a 13-4 if it were to play out. Man, I would jump on Colgate immediately.
That's so funny you said Colgate. Colgate, really good team. They struggled. Hey, Bucknell, I was on Bucknell in the semis with the points, and Bucknell was up by like 14 points on Colgate. They should have won the game. Colgate came back and won. I covered the spread and everything. But, yeah, they really put it on, and a lot of people liked Lehigh in that game. A lot of people were on Lehigh in that. And I was close taking the points with Lehigh, and I'm glad I stayed off because Colgate really played their A game. Hey, Matt, since you said that, I'm going to throw another team out. McNeese State.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on that. That's Will Wade. Will Wade was at LSU.
Yep.
And then he kind of got it.
I think he was there when they had Ben Simmons, right?
Yes. And then I think there was some of that FBI situation with Sean Miller at Arizona. Will Wade, I think, was caught into that also. But Will Wade, listen, you can say whatever. The guy's a good head coach. Guy can coach. They're 30-3, 19-1. So be careful with that team. That's a good team, good coach. That's a team that could maybe pull an upset also on that. Real fast, I want to throw these out. I threw this out on social media. I did jump in a couple before these tournaments started, and I was looking for a little bit of money for teams to win. I took Pac-12. I took Colorado to win.
They go tonight, right? They're tonight?
They are tonight. Big Ten, this is just looking at brackets and then looking at numbers. That was plus 500 I got. 1,400 is my next team here. Wisconsin. I took Wisconsin to win the Big Ten. I like the bracket. Good team that was playing fantastic. Really got in a slump. And why not take a chance? Among the Creighton Blue Jays. Now, they're not looking good. I have Providence tonight, but I have them winning the Big East, so that might go out. UC Davis winning the Big West. Maddie's talked about this team, and I jumped on him because I really like the bracket for this team is the Florida Gators. If they win tonight, they play Georgia. Then they would play Alabama tomorrow. Alabama can't stop anybody. They can't defend at all. Then they would be in the semis against maybe Kentucky. Let's say Kentucky gets through. I like Kentucky. I have a ticket on Kentucky to win the national championship. But I like the bracket for Florida here. And then I took Yale to win the Ivy. So those are just a couple. We'll see. See if I can hit any of those.
I'm going to have some horrible flashbacks from the Richmond Spiders team that's getting into the tournament. When they beat Syracuse way back in the day, I remember as like a 13 or 14 seed, I was like, I can't believe that just happened. That was a bracket buster. That SEC tournament that you just brought up is loaded. South Carolina played a good game today. Bama is still going to score. So that game, if it's them versus Florida, man, I'd look at the over. I believe they were like 90 to 88 last game they played. Kentucky, really, really good. That's a whoever wins that is actually going to jump up probably a seed line. And that's a huge get in the SEC. I mean, especially if they get down in the South, if somebody can get to a one line like Tennessee, man, that's a big get. They'll be placed in the South, and that's home cooking.
All right, let's go in the chat here. We got some things. Kelly, hey Kelly, thanks for being here. Thoughts on Baylor? Listen, I like Baylor. I love the head coach. I think he's fantastic. The team at times, go ahead. I mean, I think they can struggle at times, but I think Baylor can go. I think Baylor. Pack Attack also wrote Baylor equals a sneaky stock up. If Baylor gets a number 2 seed, sneaky Elite 8 team. Absolutely. I could see Baylor going there. I could see Baylor making a run.
Right now they're seated on the 2 line. So that's a really, they would play, it's Joe Lunardi, and he's pretty spot on when it comes to this. So
absolutely.
If he has them as a 2 seed playing Quinnipiac, man, that's an easy pencil Baylor out for at least one win. Who knows? Then they play the 7-10, and you could get a favorable matchup against the 10 seed. But it is the tournament. We're gonna have some upsets, and we know it. But I actually think Baylor is a sneaky elite 8 team, especially because the Big 12 is loaded this year. So that and the SEC to me were probably the 2 best conferences by far this year.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think. Baylor, you just go down all of them. Iowa State. I have a ticket on Iowa State. I think Iowa State's a great team. I think Kansas, it hasn't been as smooth as I thought for Kansas. Now you have, like last night, they didn't play 2 of their players with injury, their 2 best players. And Cincinnati put it on them. Now, do they come back? Is everything going here, flowing for them? Could. I mean, you might get a decent number if they drop some seeds here to take them to go far. But, that's a fantastic conference. Yeah. And then, again, SEC, Kentucky, Tennessee. I mean, you can keep going on and on and on. And then I'll tell you right now, UConn, I think in the last 2 weeks, I took Providence against UConn Saturday night. And Providence got out fast. And I was like, wow, I got like 11, 12 points, something like that. And that wasn't even close. When that team is clicking, and that Xavier game was close today. And I was at work, so I saw this later. Some people on social media said, you could see they just put it in another drive. Their defense picked up. You leave any of their shooters slightly open, it's a made 3. The big guy underneath is fantastic. Great head coach. That team is going to be very tough to beat. That's a machine.
Yeah, that's one that it's dumb to say, but It's chalky. I think you can actually be pretty safe to pencil UConn into at least the Elite Eight on every one of your brackets. Now, there it gets a little sketchy because you're going to probably go up against a 2, 3, 4, whoever it is, and you never know. An injury could occur, but I think that's still an easy Elite Eight team, even if they were to get an injury. They're so deep and the coaching's so good right now. And they're just nobody's, although you know what? Nobody's really pushed them. They haven't been bullied around. So maybe they'll come up against a SEC bully. So,
Hey, that game tomorrow is going to be fantastic. I think they play St. John's.
yeah, in the Garden.
In the Garden. And that,
Yeah.
and you, listen, Patino a couple weeks ago threw everybody under the bus on that team. Said, this is the worst experience coaching I've had. I'm miserable right now. Rip it on his players, rip it on coaches, rip it on everybody. What have they done? They've taken off.
Yeah. I think they knocked out Seton Hall today. I think
Oh,
Seton Hall
yeah,
loses
they were
their
up
bid.
big. Seton Hall's a
Yeah.
good team.
Yeah, I think
It's
they're
not
going to
bad.
lose their bid, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just going back, like, you know, if Villanova wins tonight and they look good, again, Marquette has a guy, their top guy out, but if they lose, then they should be in. If, man, BC, and listen, I have nothing against the University of Virginia. I don't. I'm just sorry. I don't want to watch a team that scores like 44 points in the tournament. I'm not watching junior high basketball. And their defense, to me, is not even as good as it used to be. I liked a couple years ago when they were like really great defensively. I mean, I haven't looked at the numbers, so if I'm incorrect on this, then somebody can call me out. But when you're scoring 40, 42, 44 points, who in the world wants to watch that? Put Indiana State in. And that's the thing, too. Like James Madison, like if they didn't win their conference, they had 30-something wins. And there was talks that they weren't going to get in. And it's like, come on now. And it's too bad Appy State, they that would have been a great finals, but they got knocked off in that too. So, yeah, Pitt, let's just go Pitt because, I know my dad's listening. He's a Pitt fan, and my boss is a Pitt fan. I think Pitt should get in. I think they're playing really well right now. And
I think they're in. I think they locked it up today. I think that was probably a quad 2 win. I don't know how they actually rate that, but I think they have a good enough resume to say, hey, we were the 4 seed in the ACC, the powerhouse ACC, and now we're going to go to the quarters or the semis, whatever it is in the tournament. I think they're in. And good for Pitt. I have nothing against them.
Yeah, I hope they get in. I hope they get in too. I think they've done a great job this year. The only thing I want to go back, I don't think I made my comment on Woodson. I was ripping Woodson, but I will give him credit. Because when you rip on people, go at it. But I think they've won 5 in a row. Because University of Indiana just brought him back. And I was like, man, why are they bringing this guy back? And now the team has caught a little fire here. Now, hopefully Penn State can eliminate that tonight and get the win, especially because I'm on a money line parlay, but we'll see what happens. Right now, a little update. Let's do some updates on some scores here because we got some bets in and I like winning money. Marist is only down 2. Don't let me down, Marist. Ohio State's looking good for me. Hey, a great game this afternoon, Matt, was San Diego State UNLV. That's out, I think that's on the home court of UNLV. That's a sneaky team. San Diego State's lost, I think, 2 in a row or 3 in a row coming in that game, and they were down, but now they're back up. Marist is down 1. Ohio State's up 9. NC State, man, I'd love to see them knock Duke out. Just get Duke out.
Well, I mean, Duke's in the tournament. They're only just going to knock them out of the ACC tournament. I actually think Duke's.
I know. Oh, but I just get them out.
They're good for business.
Oh, that guy. So let me tell you a funny story. So I think it was Sunday morning. That 30 for 30 on that I Hate Christian Laettner was on. Yeah. And that's really good. I think ESPN, I'm not a big ESPN guy anymore, but I think they do fantastic stuff with the 30 for 30. And my wife came down and she's like listening to it and she's like, why did they hate him so much? And I'm like, well, first it's Duke. A lot of people don't like Duke. And Christian Laettner, maybe one of the best college basketball players of all time, just was kind of arrogant and everything like that. And I said, the funny thing is, it's every year there's somebody, JJ Redick, Grayson Allen. Now, this guy has kind of taken that villain role with the people stampeding, and then he's hopping on, then he's playing, and then, then he tripped a guy. I mean, did you see that trip? That was a great trip.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, but that's why I say they're good for
oh, they are. They are.
Because
Yeah, they
they're
are.
the villain. Yeah, they're
Oh,
going to
they
be the
are.
villain, and
Yeah.
he's turned himself into a villain. So
And then he has to play the villain. If that's what you're going to be,
Well, I
it's
think
like you're a pro wrestler. Then be the
maybe
villain.
he's going to now.
Yeah,
And he
great.
should. Somebody actually should elbow him, break his nose like Montross back in the day, and only could be
R.I.P.
more of a villain.
R.I.P. Eric Montross. Yep. Yeah. Hey, you said too, tomorrow, Pitt, North Carolina, that's going to be good. North Carolina, and I'm not high on Davis as a head coach. I don't like him either, I don't think, but they have a pretty good team. They're pushing for a number one seed. So it's going to be interesting to see. Arizona, again, they had a good one because everybody was on USC. This USC team, all of a sudden, they have played better. But all of a sudden now, everybody loved USC. They had a funny thing. They threw a funny name out on VSiN. I think Mike Palm was on, and he was kind of saying the same thing, like, everyone's betting USC. USC's like, you would think they had Harold Miner back on the team.
Yeah.
That's a great name. Harold Miner, Baby Jordan, man. That was fantastic. That's what we should have. We should have done a top 3, our favorite tournament players of all time. That's what we should have done.
Yeah, we still got time.
Yeah, we still got time. So, anything else college basketball, man? I think we gave out some really good info there.
I think you should kind of just say, hey, here's 4 teams I think can win it all, because we're not going to be on until after the brackets, and it might be sketchy if we are going to be on after the brackets are released, because I'll be in Vegas and it's just kind of be running amok. So why don't you give out 4 teams you think can win the tournament right now?
Well, I have a ticket on Kentucky. I've said that for the last couple weeks. I'm going to stick with that because I think they have a very talented team. Now, could they lose in the first round? Yes. Could they lose in the second? Absolutely. I think anybody could. I like them. I really like Tennessee. I've liked Tennessee all year. I do like Iowa State. I have a ticket on them, and I'm not just saying they could win. I think UConn by far is just a machine. I think if UConn plays, I think they can play slightly above average game and they can win against most teams. I do like Purdue. They're a team that usually falters too. I think they're a little better than they have been in the past. I think they have some shooters in there, but the Cougars out of Houston for sure. That team's good. That team's really good. So, I mean, there's a couple teams. I would say Kentucky, Tennessee. I mean, can somebody really catch fire? Absolutely. But Iowa State, Houston, UConn, Purdue maybe in there too if you like Purdue.
All right. I'll throw out 4. UConn's a gimme. Houston, I actually really do like this year, especially if, who was it, Shed or Sasser just keeps playing the way they are. Yeah, Sasser was last year. I actually like Creighton. Something Jason threw out when you're looking at brackets coming up. If you go back to the preseason rankings, and I already saved the preseason rankings, when you have 2 teams matched up, when you go, say it's Kentucky versus Creighton in a matchup, just hypothetical here, whoever had the higher preseason ranking of those 2 teams actually wins.
Yep.
70% of the games. So it holds up that, hey, we had these guys right. Maybe they stumbled throughout the year, just didn't play up to par or whatever, had some tough losses, etc. So I'm really going to look for that when I'm in Vegas, when I go to the sports window. Say, look, what were the preseason rankings? Who's hot right now, etc. And that'll really factor into some plays. And this is going to be unpopular, especially by some people in the chat. I think Duke is a Final Four team because of their two guards, and we all know guard play dominates the brackets and March Madness. So
I
it's
see.
unpopular. I think they're sneaky good.
I would throw you. I like North Carolina to get in there more than Duke.
See, I don't. And I'm not a Hubert Davis fan. And I think if Baycott gets in trouble and foul trouble, I think they can be easily had because then they have no post presence.
All right, Kelly says Final Four: UConn, Houston, Marquette, Tennessee. Hey, listen, Kelly, I think you're right on there too. I like that Final Four. I think Marquette's a team. The thing is that best player going to play.
Is it Kolek?
Kolek, yeah. And there was a lot of things going on with that team. You heard that there was some stuff that was coming out like his grades weren't good, and then all of a sudden,
we're not going to know what it is.
No, you're never going to know. And I'll tell you, no, I was going to say something, but I'm going to keep my mouth shut, which is hard for me to do sometimes.
Is he riding motorcycles with Bobby Petrino?
No, I think I heard it's not grades. I heard it is an injury. So let's just say that. So, okay. I don't know, because the grades came out and then all of a sudden he was hurt. So I don't know. I don't think he'll play in the Big East tournament. It doesn't sound, and you shouldn't play because you're in. If it is an injury, just let him rest and get ready to go. Yeah, and Matt, I will say I do like your Creighton Blue Jays play too, because I like that team. I think that's a good team. I've watched that team. The big guy underneath's good. I think they have good guard play. I think that's a team that could go really far also.
Yeah,
so
they're well coached too. So yeah,
I love the coach. I think he's a great coach. Yeah, we are talking NFL next. Let's go into NFL. Let's go. Let's get into it.
I'm ready.
All right.
It's been a whirlwind here.
Can you even keep up with it? So what we're gonna do? What we're gonna do tonight? Maddie's gonna. I had Maddie. I'm the school teacher, but I said you're gonna be the professor. You're gonna grade some of these running backs here in a minute. We're gonna get to some of these moves. You're gonna grade them A through F if you like it and not. Everything with that. But yeah, you got some big, it just moves. You got Cousins going to Atlanta. You got Russell Wilson going to the Steelers, and I said last week, I didn't think it was going to happen. I'm happy on it. I like what the Steelers have done. I really do. So let's hit on that first. I like what the Steelers have done because I think this is a better quarterback. Wilson, again, over the last 2 years, a couple years, he has 42 touchdowns, averages 219 yards passing, 90.9 passing rating. The Steelers' other quarterbacks have only thrown for 25 touchdowns, 81.5 passing rating, and they average at 193 yards. I like the upgrade. And here's the thing. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's $1.2 million. Then you cut ties. Who cares? Roll the dice. Why not? It wasn't good last year, people. Get on board. I don't like the guy that much anymore either. I think his personality is weird. I'm on board. I love the linebacker from Baltimore. They brought in a safety today that supposedly is a great run stopper. I like that. And then now go get me another wide receiver. If it's Tyler Boyd, I like it. I like what the Steelers have done. All right, Matty, you're the Commanders guy. That's your team. Yeah. A lot of action, man. They're signing people left and right. Not for a lot of money, but they had a big trade today. They sent Sam Howell out to Seattle. Now, I'm going to two names that really stand out if you look, and I'm going to ask you this because you're the fan. I live here. I hear this all the time. You have some people down here saying, oh, they're doing unbelievable. Other people, Eckler and Wagner. Do you like those signings?
I like them 4 years ago, not now. This is so. What the GM to me is doing is he's making this a win now team, and this is not a win now team. This isn't even a finished top 2 team in their division. You're going to have a rookie quarterback, obviously, with sending Hal out, which is dumb as well. So we're going to pay Marcus Mariota $8 million a year instead of keeping Sam Howell around for, I don't know, 2.5, just ballpark. And why would you do that, especially when there's a team that could have an injury midseason and you send them out for peanuts, and now you actually short yourself. Oh, okay, so Mariota comes in and now he wins 3 games. You ruin some stock, some draft stock. Just foolish. I think what they're doing, they're actually, I said it, they're a rich kid with a brand new black Amex card, and they just have no spending limit. They're just getting people to get people, and they've gotten the wrong people. Some of them are going to work out, but I mean, Bobby Wagner's really good. He's also really old. He's going to play 2 years. Mariota the same. Eckler the same. He's 30. I'm like, man, you're not getting younger, and you're not really addressing needs. They got the center from Dallas, who's a good player, and that hits a need. Tight end, I'm like, oh, great. We bring in Zach Ertz, who can't block anything, and he's old. They made a fantasy team from 2018 that would destroy people, and that doesn't work.
Well said. Well said. Okay, so before we get into the rate, like you grading these running backs, just okay. So there's a lot. I just want to go in the chat because the chat, we love the chat. Bill, come on, Bill, man. It's a money deal for Wilson. Not even. Hey, listen, here's the thing. This is going to go down. Old man in the garage hates it. Me and him go back and forth all the time. Dr. Brent is right with me. He loves it. Low risk, high reward. I can't wait for the fall to talk because I can come on this show if he's blowing it up, and I'm going to listen. I'm one of those people. I'll put it out there. But if he's horrible, hey, have at it with me. I'll have to eat my words and say it was bad. I just think it's going to be better than Kenny Pickett. I saw enough of Kenny Pickett.
Let's make a side bet real quick.
Yeah.
Who starts game 1?
Russell Wilson.
I'll take that bet.
You think it's going to be Kenny?
I do.
Okay. I'll take Russell.
And I'd even give even money. I'd say it's a money line play.
Okay.
Even each way. We'll do a friendly side wager.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I like that.
Yeah.
Now, I just think, I mean, I saw enough of Kenny. Guy can't throw a ball very far. Any pressure, he falls down. Doesn't even try to escape. He just falls down in a fetal position. So, I'm done with Kenny. And who's their quarterback? And Russell Wilson's not their, again, people, I'm not, they got to get a quarterback. I don't know, but in a year gap, maybe 2-year gap, and then you can try to see, hey, listen, if somebody falls in the 3rd round, like, I know this name's not popular. I like Spencer Rattler. Supposedly he had a great workout yesterday. If he's there, I have no problem. See what happens. Personality sometimes a little weird too. So, and and here's the thing. I'm going to say this. The Deontay Johnson deal had to be done. Beeson today was crushing the Steelers. What are they doing? Oh, Deontay Johnson. Have they watched the Steelers? And I love that show. I love Mitch and Paul. Have you watched Deontay Johnson? The guy's a good route runner. Sometimes he can't catch, and sometimes he just doesn't even try. He had an attitude. He had to go.
Drops Deontay. Yeah, that was an easy get rid of.
Yeah, not a problem. I mean, you bring me Boyd, and then what do the Steelers do in every draft? They always find some wide receiver. And guess what they're going to do this draft? They're going to find another wide receiver. So, all right.
Here, real quick, though, what annoys me, though, when you go on to social media, you see all these Yinzers saying, oh, I can't wait to get Lad McConkey at pick 20 or this other Brian Thomas at pick 20. I'm like, if you pick a wide receiver at pick 20, you're telling your fan base, again, we don't get it. Go get your offensive lineman or your corner because you got to address those needs, and you've been trying to do it late in the draft, and it doesn't work.
Okay, so this is who I think they're going to pick, and then we're going to get off the Steelers because this is not a Steeler show. I think they're going to get that offensive tackle out of Georgia. If he's there, that's who they're drafting.
If I had to pick now, I say it's the cornerback from Clemson.
Okay, so you have him. I'm going to stick with the guy from Georgia. All right, real quick. Baltimore. I think it's a good pick with Henry going there. They're going to pound the ball. They released Beckham today, which, I don't know, money-wise, he wasn't too bad for them.
He actually said he might re-sign with them for less money.
Okay.
So
okay.
I think it was just a cap hit. resolution. So he said he's interested in re-signing. So
Real quick before you go into your these running backs, you like what Atlanta's doing? They brought Cousins in. They're bringing some weapons. They got rid of Ritter today. They traded Ritter, brought in Moore, a speedster out of Purdue.
I do. That's another team with a 2-year window in a very winnable division. So I don't think they're going to push for the Super Bowl, but the NFC is kind of weak. So Vegas, I believe, already started their odds at like over 10.5 wins, which means they would win their division by a game and a half over this past year. So that's an arrow up, and we all know that Vegas knows more than us. So
absolutely. All right, here I've drilled this guy for 2 weeks. We had rumors. He talked about them. We had quarterbacks in the draft. He talked about them last week, knocking it out of the ballpark. This week, he's Professor Matt. All right, he's going to grade these running back switches here. So let's go. Derrick Henry, Ravens. What's the grade?
I actually think it's an A+. And that's just not being sarcastic or crazy in any way. He's the perfect fit on a very good team for a 2-year window. I think he has 2 years left. How he has as much tread on his tires, who knows? Maybe he'll come out, injure himself, and completely hit the wall. But they got rid of Gus Edwards, so he is the perfect fit. He's going to get 60 to 70% of the carries, and their complement is that Keaton Mitchell, who is a speed demon and can catch the balls out of the back. I think this actually made the most sense out of all of it. Imagine trying to scheme to stop an RPO where Lamar is handing off to Henry, and then Lamar keeps it and goes around the corner when everybody's crashing to try to tackle that tank that is Derrick Henry. I think it's a genius move.
Yeah, again, we love the chat. I'm going to go back in the chat here, going off running backs here, but Ken just says Kirk Cousins made $362 million guaranteed money, and he has 1 playoff win in 12 years. Hey, man, he knows how to make money. That's the way it is.
I got into an argument with somebody. They're like, how he's so overrated. He has 2 playoff wins or whatever it is, 1 playoff win. I'm like, Lamar just won MVP.
Yeah, I saw that today. Yeah.
With trash numbers, and he has 2 playoff wins.
Yeah.
And he hasn't beat the Steelers, I believe, in 8 straight games or something.
Steelers have their number. Yeah, Steelers have their number.
Cousins may be somewhat of a number whore, but he's actually a really good quarterback, and his numbers through 8 games last year were probably second best overall. He's still good.
Yeah, I like Cousins. I was always, I don't mind if he then comes towards the Steelers. So, all right, next one. Aaron Jones got released from Green Bay. He signed with Minnesota. What's your grade?
I think I'll give him a B+. He's getting up there in years. His contract, good numbers, not great numbers, but he really showed down the stretch that he can actually still play. I think his last 8 games, he went off. And now it adds in a little bit of a rivalry, and it's an open backfield there. Their number 1 back was Ty Chandler. I'm pretty sure he's going to beat out Ty Chandler. So the problem now in Minnesota is who's going to be the quarterback and how unhappy are the other pieces up there? Because if Justin Jefferson somehow gets moved or, I don't know, holds out, that team's going to be a mess.
All right, Bill, again, any team adding Henry is an A+. Yeah, I like Derrick Henry. I have him on like 3 of my fantasy teams. Love him. I think it's a great landing spot where he went, personally. All right, Joe Mixon was going to get released, then got traded to the Texans. Listen, some of his personal stuff back in the day wasn't fantastic, but I think he's a pretty okay back. What's your grade with Joe Mixon?
I actually give this an A-. That's a really good veteran back to bring in. They did lose Devin Singletary, so the job's his. It's a really good team, and he doesn't have to play like a leader role. That's obviously going to go to C.J. Stroud and probably the Anderson kid on the other side of the ball. And D'Amico Ryans, I think, can keep his personal issues in check. I think it's a great signing by them. All
right. Zach Moss. Let's go Moss. He goes to the Bengals.
I gave this a B-. It's good. He showed he can still play. he's going to be the starter, but they have a kid named Chase Brown for next year who's a real speed
Yeah, I like
demon, too.
Chase Brown. Yep.
So that's definitely a running back by committee, but I think it works, and especially works with a cap number. So they got rid of big money in Mixon and did okay. Like they were serviceable. Zach Moss should have been somebody like Dallas brought in, because right now I think Dallas has one back signed and it's Deuce Vaughn, and that's just, I mean, that's unacceptable. Sorry, Ken.
Yeah. That's, well, listen, Deuce Vaughn, good college football player.
Yeah.
But I don't know in the NFL if it's
He's
going
not
to
Darren
play
Sproles.
out. Yeah, he's not going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
All right, Barkley to the Eagles.
It's an A still. It's not an A plus because of his injury history. But if you just go look at the offensive line grades, he's ran behind the 31st ranked offensive line. He's now going to a top 3 offensive line. I think you can actually pencil him in for 1,400 total yards in some way, shape, or form. And he's going to get the beat up on his old team twice. And I mean, that makes the NFC East so much fun to watch with these rivalries that are going to be coming up.
Our great producer John is doing the fly eagle fly, and that's got a little laugh there with that. Yeah, I agree with you. I think John, there's John right there. Hey, John, get on the mic real quick. How are you doing, man?
I'm good, guys. How are you guys doing?
We're doing fantastic, man. Do unbelievable work. But yeah, made me laugh there doing the fly eagle fly there. So yeah, I think
we do.
Yeah, I think it's a good sign. I do. Matt, I think you said it well. The line that he's going to run behind is going to be fantastic. John, you got something?
I hate to say we can't do worse than last season, so it's only up from there, right?
Hey, that's what life's about.
Yeah.
It can always get better.
Yeah.
It can always get better.
And somehow they sometimes can find a way to make it worse, so we'll see.
Yeah, look at my life, man. Steelers haven't been great. Pirates, Georgetown basketball, not good. You always have to wake up and go, it's going to turn. When's it going to turn? Something good's going to happen here. All right, I got to go back in this. Josh Jacobs to the Packers.
So when this first came out, I didn't realize that they had a clause that they were going to drop Aaron Jones. I actually gave this an F out of the gate because I was like, what are they
Yeah, I knew
doing?
you
Now-
weren't happy on the text message.
No, now they're paying 2 guys big bucks at running back. You're tying up all this, and then they immediately cut Aaron Jones. So I actually give this probably a B. He's getting up there in years, and he's got some high wear and tear, but he's a perfect fit for the scheme, and I actually think he's way better than A.J. Dillon ever was up there. So I think it works. I think it's a perfect compliment to Jordan Love and the young wide receiver core. Now they better draft a couple linemen because David Bakhtiari's moved on, and they could probably use a little bit of help and just keep pounding with Jacobs and keep Love in check in that pocket because he's actually forming into a really, really good quarterback.
All right, I lost there's my list again. I got too many. I got people texting me stuff, and goodness gracious, trying to keep up with scores here. All right, where are we going next? We talked about Eckler a little bit already. How about Tony Pollard to Tennessee?
D-.
Yeah.
That he's not a lead back. They've now paid him elite money, and they already have him on the roster and a kid named Tajay Spears who makes 1/20th of what he's making. Give that kid the shot if you're going to do anything, and then bring in a thumper if you were going to do anything. Like, why didn't they go after Josh Jacobs? But I think there's an asterisk with that because I think they're the team that could draft Joe Alt or even trade back and have somebody come up and then stockpile some more O linemen. And who knows? With the new coaching down there, it's Cincinnati's former offensive coordinator, I think, is their now coach. So I like what they did. I know people are crazy nuts over them signing Calvin Ridley for the money they did, and they should be when they had A.J. Brown on the roster and didn't re-sign him.
Could have just done the same deal with Brown 2 years ago or 3 years,
nuts.
whenever that was. So
that team is super dependent on Will Levis, though. Is he going to be good, or is he just going to sling it?
Or slow down. Or
No.
slow down, Matt. Or
Don't even say ultimate backup Mason Rudolph.
Mason Rudolph could step in and take over there.
Foolish.
All right, move. Let's go in the chat here. We got a couple more things here. Ken, overpaid for Barkley. Unfortunately, I don't think he plays every game. Bill, says the same thing. Barkley is a C plus, too many injuries, 500 yards at best. Wow.
I'll square up with Bill here shortly.
Yeah. I was going to say, Bill's coming out of the gate fire, man. I like it, Bill. Keep it up, man. Yeah, good to see you, man, in the chat tonight. Good guy, man. Bill's a good guy. All right, Swift to the Bears.
I originally liked it, and now I don't like it. I think it's a C minus because I double checked today. They still have Khalil Herbert on the roster, and they still have Roshan Johnson, both who played well. What are you going to do here? Maybe somebody gets moved during the draft, and they go down to 2 backs, but not a fan. C minus here. I thought Chicago was doing good things.
All right, Singletary left the Texans, went to the Giants. You said that earlier, but what's your grade?
I actually like it. I think it's a B plus. Although I think the Giants, sorry, Jeff, if you're listening, I think they're going to be really, really bad. Who knows what they're doing at quarterback? Still no wide receivers. They made some good signings though. You know what? They might bring old Big Blue defense back with the guys they brought in, but that is a team that's a work in progress. I think you can actually pencil them into the last spot in the NFC East.
Kelly says Barkley's going to go off behind a good offensive line. Yep. Yeah, I mean, he has a good line. If he can stay healthy, good things can happen there. So I agree. It should be fun to see how that plays out over the season here. Real quick with the Giants before we do our last two, and then we do a quick little recap and we get out of here. Overall, the Giants, now they gave a big contract to Jones, and I believe they just brought in Drew Lock as the backup. And now there's rumors that they want maybe McCarthy. They want somebody. I mean, are they going to go? They got to go quarterback. I mean, that's crazy, isn't it?
I don't think so. I think you have to give Jones one more year. He was hurt last year. So you're paying him all that money. Maybe they have some kind of out clause, but I think you have to give him one more year. I think somebody's going to jump up, and I said it all along, for McCarthy. I don't know where. I think after his pro day, too, him and Bo Nix even stock up now. So it's crazy how they evaluate these quarterbacks and how fluid it is. Hey, they're going here. Hey, we're looking at him. Heck, I'm still not sold that the Bears are going to pick Caleb Williams number 1. I think somebody might still jump into that spot. So why not? If the Giants, pick 4? Or they no
4 or 6? 6.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, I think it's 6, but I might be incorrect. So
yeah, they're mocked to grab the wide receiver, the kid from Washington. It makes sense, but if they can somehow swing and trade, who knows? Push all in, go get Caleb Williams or Daniels at 2. I'm not opposed to the Bears having this plan all along that they maybe wanted to keep Justin Fields if they didn't get a crazy offer for him and trade out of 1 now and see who wants Caleb Williams.
I like the Bears defense. I like what they've done with their defense.
Yep.
And you just never know. I mean, that's the thing. You take one of these quarterbacks and they bust, you set your franchise back for years upon years. So, all right. Sorry. Got out of my thing again. Gus Edwards to the Chargers.
I think that's a really good move.
Yeah, Jimmy's going to run the ball, man. You know what Jimmy's going to do.
I gave it a B+. They have a good O-line, and they need to actually tune back Herbert's throws. Just way too many passes and not good passes anymore. And they lost Mike Williams now.
Yeah, released him. Yep.
Yeah, rumors of them possibly drafting Brock Bowers, which I think would help the run game and Herbert. So I think Edwards is a perfect banger in Harbaugh's system. Problem is they need a complement. That Josh Kelly, he may be a nice guy. I don't think he's a very good NFL running back. So I think they need a complement for Edwards.
Yeah, you know Jimmy's going to pound the ball. And I'm shocked. I did not know. I was talking with old man in the garage about quarterbacks. Herbert's the second highest paid quarterback in the league. I mean, I mean, he's okay, but oh my goodness.
Big money.
Yeah, I guess so. Let's go in the chat here. Kelly said, even Kelsey said he wished he wouldn't have announced his retirement. Yeah, that's...
Hey, who's to say he's not coming back out of retirement?
Hey, you never know. Maybe he could. He could. Williams is going to be a bust, and Buck also says a big bust. Yeah, it's tough, guys, with him because USC was just their offensive line was so bad this year. If you watched any of their games, at times he had no time to throw the ball at all. So to me, it's kind of tough to see, is he going to be a bust? You've seen some things with his personality and some of the comments that he's made, like he wants this and he was demanding that. I don't like any of that. If you haven't played a down in the league yet and you're trying to demand stuff, I mean, come on, shut up. Get in the league, prove that you're good, prove that you can play in the league, and then maybe we can talk. But he's
got some growing up to do. So
yeah, Ken just said that he's a diva, just like a wide receiver. Good possibility. So, all right, man, Matty, another great job with the NFL, grading the teams or the running backs, going to the new teams. I love it. Matty, quick update on some scores.
Yes, sir.
San Diego State, man, looks like they're up 3 in overtime. That game got into overtime. Nice. Yep. Hey, how about
they're down 1.
UNLV's down 1?
No, San Diego State's down 1. Big swing.
I have 74-71 San Diego State with 3 seconds left.
They must have just hit a 4-point play because it was 71-70. Wow.
All right, Marist. That's a big winner. They came back and beat Niagara. That's another winner. Ohio State up 12 with a minute. That's another winner. I like it. Let's own March. That's what we're doing. We are owning March. We control it. Let's go.
Mine's going to be sweat March. Kansas State's down 6. That's a 7-point spread.
Who else? Game I was going to jump on tonight was Ole Miss, Texas A&M. I mean, Texas A&M's up 5. I think the spread was right around there. North Texas, a good team. You got Duquesne playing right now. Yeah, there's some good games tonight, man. Nevada, Colorado State's a really good game. But, yeah, let's see where the night goes. I mean, tell Matt to keep sipping on that Gatorade. It's going to be a long week ahead. Yeah. Matty, hydrate, my friend. Yeah, we'll let you know. Follow us on social media. Matty's going out to Vegas, so we're going to try to figure out what we're doing for the show next week. Matty might join us. I might just try to do it and have John in with me. I might try to bring on a co-host, or if Matty can jump on, that'd be great. The following week, probably going to be off, guys. I'm going to head down to Florida for spring break. Spring break 95. Pauly Shore and myself are going to hang out, so we'll probably be off there. But we'll figure out. Just follow us on social media, and we'll let you know and stuff. Duke is down 7. I love it, Ken. Let's get Duke out of there. Let's go Pitt. Let's go Pitt. The whole ACC. Let's go Pitt. Matty, any final words?
Yeah, I hope. A funny story. A few years ago, Buck actually called me, and I think I told this story not too long ago too. I was in Vegas. He's like, "Hey man, I really love Duke," and this is before the online Duke the money line cover against Lehigh. I was like, "Yeah, sure, absolutely." Run to the window, get the ticket done. And I was playing beer pong in the Flamingo, and I'm watching the game. Like, holy smokes, Duke is getting throttled.
I remember that game.
Back. He's like, I'll mail you that money ASAP. I hope I get a call from this year. Hey, get some money on this one.
Yeah. Hey, Buck, I don't know. Don't do it on Duke. I don't know. Duke's a good team. Duke is a really good team. So, but hey, everybody, thank you so much joining the chat tonight. We love the chat. It's always fun. But yeah, we'll let you know about the next 2 weeks. But yeah, we're going to run it out, man. Baseball. Matty, I have a couple baseball bets, but I'll hold it for the season. My Pirates are one of them, but I got 2 other ones I added. So we'll talk about that here in the future.
Perfect.
All right, Matty, what do we always say?
Hey, everyone, thank you so much for joining in. We love you guys and appreciate everything, and bang your bookies.
Thanks for listening to the Notebook Wagering Podcast. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any episodes, and be sure to follow @Notebook Wagering. Until next time.